चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूप कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकम्। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरु श्रीयुतपदकमलं श्रीगुरुं वैष्णवांश श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगना रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपदान् सहगना ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च नमः ॐ विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिन्निति नामिने। नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे। हे कृष्णा करुणा सिंधु दीनबंधु जगतपते गोपेश गोपिका कांत राधा कांत नमस्तुते। तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा। So welcome to our Tuesday and Thursday classes on the Vaishnav Ninda. Somehow last Tuesday we could not have, and we only had the first class on Thursday. We had the introduction on the whole Vaishnav Ninda, and last Tuesday was Narsim Jayanti, so that's why we could not have the class. So today this is the second class on Vaishnav Ninda. This is such an important subject that maybe the Lord wants us to go slowly, systematically, step by step, and digest this subject, because if this one subject we understand and practice in our life, we will definitely attain perfection. Absolutely no doubt about it. So we will just have a recap of what we discussed in the last class, and then we will continue our discussion. So we began with this discussion on criticism of Vaishnavas. This is an essay written by Bhaktivinoda Thakur in Bengali, and which was printed in the magazine of the Gaudiya Math, the Harmonist, that is the magazine of Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur. Srila Prabhupada's magazine is called as the Back to Godhead, and Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur magazine was called as the Harmonist. So it comes in the Harmonist, where it was printed in Bengali, and later on there were many translations. Recently, ISKCON, very authentic and bona fide translation and book is available. So that's why we started this discussion. So in part A is the introduction and the Bhaktivinoda Thakur's actual book of discussion. We began this discussion and we went quite elaborately into what is this Hatimata offense. Hatimata means a mad elephant offense. So in the Chaitanya Charitamrita, there is an elaborate discussion in the Rup Siksha 19th chapter, where Chaitanya Mahaprabhu explains how there are jivas And in that there are gradations. Some are human beings, some are moving, unmoving. In that there are human beings which are very small number. Within the human beings, most are like animal. Then there are those who follow Vedas. Then among them there is, Gyanis, and among such great koti Gyanis, there is one Krishna Bhakt, and he is Nishkam. And by the mercy of Guru and Krishna, he gets the Bhakti Lata Beej. When he waters it, it will cross this Brahmanda and ultimately attain the lotus feet of Krishna by getting Krishna Prem. So that is how he explains it. So this is what we discussed in the introduction. Now part 2 is, look into criticism, how it is born of envy. This will be a modern analysis of it, and what are the qualities of one who is free from envy. This is for our own examination and symptoms. And this is the most important part where from the Chaitanya Bhagavat we are going to see what Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has to say about Vaishnava envy. Coming back to that introduction, as I was mentioning, after Chaitanya Mahaprabhu explains that, it will reach Golok, this Bhakti Lata, and attain Krishna Prem. But Kintu, he says, Yadi Vaishnava Aparad Ute Hati Mata, Uphadeva Chinde Tara Shuki Aya Pata. If one commits a Vaishnava offense, then it is like it will break the creeper from the root and completely destroy it like a mad elephant. So this quite detailed, we went on the explanation. And then what is the instruction Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says? Tate mali yatna kari kare avaran aparad hastira yache na hai udgam. So it is the duty of the sadhaka to cover, to border his Bhakti Lata offense and not allow Vaishnava offense, which is compared to hastira, which is compared to the mad elephant offense, to enter and destroy this Bhakti Lata. So this is how the instructions Chaitanya Mahaprabhu gives to Rupa Goswami, and we saw this explanation also by Srila Prabhupada, what exactly, how we commit this offense, by associating with non-devotees, by not following the instructions of the spiritual master and becoming slack in following the regulative principles. Then we, after seeing the introduction, we went to the actual book, the Vaishnava Ninda, Bengali and English explanation. So the first theme is the result of blaspheming a Vaishnava. So Bhaktivinoda Thakur, I'll just recap so that we, continue with the discussion. Bhaktivinoda Thakur says that of all kinds of the offenses a living entity can commit, there are no offenses as terrible as Vaishnava Aparad. So there are many kinds of offense: physical offense, violence, sins, offense by, doing Jiva Himsa, but there is no such offense as Vaishnava Aparad. So therefore, he says it is essential to analyze according to Shastra what is referred as Vaishnava Aparad. Shastra Vichar we have to have. And then he gives a reference from the Skanda Puran. Nindam kurvanti ye muda Vaishnavanam mahatmana patanti pitrebhya sardam maharaurave samgate. So this is in the conversation between Markandeya and Bhagirath. And this is how, in the Skand Puran, they say, those who do ninda of Vaishnava, criticize, they are great fools, and they fall in the Maharaurav along with their forefathers. So what is criticism? Hanti nindanti va dveshti Vaishnavanam na abhinandanti krudyate yati no harsham darshane patanani sat. Sat means six. Killing a Vaishnava, criticizing a Vaishnava, hating a Vaishnava, not welcoming a Vaishnava when you see, in one sense, Maharaj Parikshit was not welcomed by the sage, Shamik Rishi, and that was an offense. And, that's how, what happened, becoming angry at and not attaining delight upon seeing Vaishnavas are the six causes of fall down. And among these, I was mentioning, whenever we see Vaishnavas, our heart should be delighted. Even in a day, 10 times we see him, we should have the same response. So this is very, very important, because that is also counted as an aparad. And this explanation is quite simple. So this is where we discussed this verse as a reference given from the Bhagavad. Nindam Bhagavata Shrunvams Tatparasya Janasya Va Tato Napaiti Yoho Sopi Yati Adha Sukritachuta. He, upon hearing criticism of Bhagavan or the Vaishnavas dedicated to him, Tatparasya Janasya Va, does not go away from that place. Tato Napaiti Yaha, degrades himself. Other Sukrutach. Sukrutach means he loses his bhakti credits. Bhakti unmut sukruti, that he will lose, having fallen from all good results of his pious activities. So here pious activities refers to all his bhakti arjit activities, bhakti punya, all that he loses. So it is said that hearing criticism of Vaishnavas is also a fault. So hearing criticism of Vaishnavas itself is a fault. So three things can be done in this situation when we hear criticism. Either we leave the place, or we immediately, cut that person's tongue, or we, we ourselves drown in the Ganges, or we counter that person by shastrically, and defend. So among these three, the best is to intelligently excuse ourselves and leave that place. We cannot leave this world, leave the body. That is too extreme. It is not recommended. And we also cannot, so if we are not we are not having, we are not Uttamadhikaris, and we cannot counter his arguments and, defeat him, then that can lead to very heated arguments and can cause disturbance for us. So best is to leave that place. And the glory here, one point, additional point as a discussion, we are all discussing now, the background of what we discussed in the last class. One glory is that Lord Krishna is so pleased when you leave that place that he bestows pure devotion to us, Krishna Prem. And two classic examples are there among the Lord's associates. Krishna's Kaviraj Goswami, when his brother did not offer respects to Maniket Ramdas, who was a very close associate of Nityanand Prabhu, when he did not give respects, Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami left and he went to Vrindavan. What mercy he was blessed that Nityanand Prabhu himself blessed him to write Chaitanya Charitamrita. It is said that Advaita Acharya's parents, I don't recollect their name now, they once heard a criticism of a Vaishnava and they left that place. And because they left that place, the glory is that a great soul like Advaita Acharya was born to them. So one who doesn't hear criticism, Krishna is very, very pleased and he bestows Prema Bhakti. So this is the most important point I had to make. Now, after discussing this, we are going to now come to the discussion for today's class. Different categories of jivas and appropriate conduct with each. So this is the next theme Bhaktivinoda Thakur is going to speak. Vaishnava ninda haite yakana e rupa sartaka hayache takana pratama Vaishnava nirdesh kara o ye कार्य द्वारा वैष्णव अपराध होए ताहा स्थिर करे नितांत प्रयोजन. Since there are such warnings about Vaishnava aparad, Vaishnav ninda haite ekan e rup sartak hayache, it is absolutely essential for first of all to identify Vaishnavas. Pratama Vaishnav nirdesh karya oye e karya dwara Vaishnava aparad, and establish which activities lead to Vaishnava aparad. ये कार्य द्वारा वैष्णव अपराध. What are the activities which lead to वैष्णव अपराध? होय ताहा स्थिर करे नितांत प्रयोजन. It is very important, essentially and absolutely प्रयोजन. It is completely essential that we find out, firstly what? Two things. Identify Vaishnavas and establish which activities lead to Vaishnava Aparadh. First, we have to identify Vaishnavas and identify what activities lead to Vaishnava Aparadh. So very systematically, Bhaktivinoda Thakur is now going to go. He says, Jiva sakale ke chari prakar vibhaga kari prayojan. Living entities can be divided into four kinds. जीव साधारण, धार्मिक जीव, ब्राह्मण ओ वैष्णव प्राय जीव ओ वैष्णव जीव. यही प्रकारे जीव चारिते विभाग. Living beings are of four kinds. The four kinds are ordinary living beings. Sadharan jeev. Jeev sadharan, he says. Dharmik jeev. Living beings who have accepted Vedic dharma. They are called as dharmik jeevs. And Brahmana o Vaishnava Praya. Vaishnava Praya means he's almost a Vaishnava. Living beings who are Brahmanas and almost Vaishnavas. So this is the term he is using, and we'll go in detail what is this Vaishnava Praya. And Vaishnav Jeev. Vaishnav Jeev means Vaishnav living beings who are Vaishnavas. Now here is an important note. Dharmik Jeev means, Dharmik Jeev has been translated here as living beings who have accepted Vedic Dharma. For Dharma is that taught in the Vedas. That means even the Karma Kanda, those who are following the Karma Kanda part of the Vedas, they are considered Dharmik because they are following the Vedas. So these are the four kinds of, living beings. And Brahmana, he's a Brahmana, but he's considered almost a Vaishnava because he's very close to Vaishnavism. That's why he's considered as Vaishnav Prai. So this is the categorization he's doing. So see here, he's saying that first you have to identify who's a Vaishnava. So he is trying to identify. Now there are four kinds of living beings. Among them, the third is almost a Vaishnava and fourth are Vaishnavas. Now let us see what Bhaktivinoda Thakur has to say next. Jiva matre Shri Krishnera adishtan. E buddhite sakala jive ke adar kara uchita. It is appropriate, uchita, that respect be given to all living beings. Sakale jive ke adar. We should respect every living being. Why? With the understanding that every living being is a residence of Sri Krishna. Jiva matre Sri Krishnera adishtan. Every being, because Krishna is residing in their heart. Now, here is an important note to establish this Siddhanta that Sri Krishnera adishtan. Uttam Adhikari, how he behaves in the Chaitanya Charitamrita is mentioned. Uttamahan Vaishnava होबे निराभिमान जीव सम्मान दिबे jani Krishna adishtan. Although Vaishnava is the most exalted person, Uttamahan Vaishnava. So this is speaking about a Uttamadhikari, a Mahabhagavat, a pure devotee. Although he is very, very exalted, hobe nirabhiman, but he is prideless. This is the quality of a pure devotee. And gives all respect to everyone. Hobe nirabhiman jiva sammana debe. He respects each and every jiva. Why? Knowing Jani, everyone to be resting place of Krishna. Jani Krishna adishtan, that in their heart Krishna is residing. He's ultimately, this jiva, is part and parcel of Krishna and is sheltered by Krishna. So this is how a Uttam Adhikari and a Mahabhagavat, he is prideless and he respects every jiva. I would like to tell here, one of our friend devotee, a close associate devotee of mine, he told me that one of our sannyasis had gone to Kerala for taking an Ayurvedic treatment, and they were staying in a house, private house, a devotee's house, and the treatment was in a hospital which was few kilometers away. So since this sannyasi wanted to maintain privacy and did not want to inform and take services from anyone, so he had told his servant to get a private vehicle, taxi, so that every day he can commute back from that private home to the hospital for the treatment. So the taxi was I don't know which car it was, but the taxi driver was a Muslim. And every time the sannyasi or Maharaj used to get into the car, he used to offer his respects to the driver. And when he used to get out, he used to offer the respects. And this driver, Muslim driver, was so humbled by this, dealing of this exalted Mahabhagavat, that literally he melted and he told the servant that I have served, means in my vehicle, many, sadhus have, I have taken them in and around here because sometimes they come here for treatment. But such a sadhu, such a saint, I have never seen, who gives respect, So this is how actually a Uttamadhikari or a Mahabhagavat always gives respect to everyone. And this is the most important sutra for us to understand. As sadhakas, we don't have that pure vision, that pure darshan, that we can see that he is Atma and is part and parcel of Krishna. Just like in the Bhagavad Gita, it is mentioned, Vidya Vinay Sampanne, Brahmani Gavihastini, Sunicheva Sopakecha, Pandita Samadarshana. We are not having that darshan, that spiritual vision by which we see. But as sadhakas, we should have this practice, because Bhaktivinoda Thakur says, Sakale Sammana Korite Shakati. The greatest strength we should get is to give respect to every jiva and especially to Vaishnavas. And we should pray to the spiritual master, Ohoy Vaishnav Thakur, Dayara Sagar. Kripa karo, Sakale Sammana Korite Shakati, Deho Nato Yoto Yoto. Bhaktivinoda Thakur is saying, as per, the Vaishnavas who are there, whether he is a Uttamadhikari, Madhyamadhikari and Kanishta, as per their, classification or as per their levels, give me the strength to respect the Vaishnavas. So this is very, very important. Tabe to gaibo harinama niraparada hoya. Only then we can chant Krishna's names offenselessly. So this is a sutra and a secret that we should it is appropriate that we should respect all living beings. And how that respect should be, in what levels that respect should be based on these four categories, Bhaktivinoda Thakur discusses further. All livings have to be given respect, but now he gives gradations in that. Tan madhe dharmik jeev ganake eketo vishesh adar kara avashaka. It is essential that some special respect, vishesh adar, be given to living beings, among them who accept Vedic dharma. Tan madhe means among these four categories, dharmik jeev ganaka. Those who are dharmik jivas, who are following karma kanda, for following the Vedas, we should give special respect. So that is the, how the gradation is. Now then, Brahmana o Vaishnava praya Jeev Ganake Sammana Kare Kartavya. So he says now, for the Brahmanas, it is obligatory. Kartavya means it is an obligation that honor be given to living beings who are Brahmanas and almost Vaishnavas. Brahmana o Vaishnava praya Jeev Ganake Sammana Kare Kartavya. It is obligatory to honor them. Here we have to give some special respect, and here we are obligated to honor the Brahmanas. Namo Brahmanya Devaya Go Brahmana Hitaya Cha. This is the first injunction. Krishna is pleased when we honor the cows and the Brahmanas. He's Brahmanya Devaya. Go Brahmana. First is go and then Brahmanas. Why? Because only when there are cows, then there is Brahminical culture. And only when there is Brahminical culture, then there can be Krishna consciousness. So here there is a note. Who are these Brahmanas? These are Brahmanas by quality. They are in the Satguna. And Bhagavad Gita in the 18.42 states, Shamo damas tapas saucham shantir arjamamevacha jnanam vijnanam astikam brahma karma svabhavajam. Svabhavajam means their nature. Their impressions are mostly in the mode of goodness. So they are sattvic in nature, and they have these, these are the qualities by which you can understand that the Brahmanas do. They can do Shama and Dhamma because, in the mode of goodness only the senses and mind can come under control. And they do tapasya, they are having cleanliness, they are peaceful, they are honest, tolerant, simple, and knowledge and wisdom. And astika means they have faith in the Vedas. So these are the qualities of the Brahmanas. So there is a question. What about Dvija Bandhus? Okay, interesting question. Okay. So Dvija Bandhus, as Prabhupada defines in the Bhagavatam and in his commentaries, they have taken birth in the family of Brahmanas, but they are not qualified, because they have not taken up to, the Brahminical culture. They don't act on the level of the Brahmanas. Just like Prabhupada gives the example of a doctor. A doctor's son is not exactly a doctor, but he gets all the facilities, to become a doctor. He gets all the facilities to become a doctor. But if he doesn't utilize those facilities, then, he cannot be called as a doctor. Similarly, somebody who's born in a Brahminical family, of a Brahmana parents, he is having good impressions, but he doesn't take the advantage of that family lineage and learns the Vedas and develop these qualities, then he's in name, only in namesake Brahmana. That is why he's called as Dvija Bandhus, So Ashwatthama was the son of Drona. Ashwatthama was a Brahmana, and his son was Ashwatthama, and he did not act like a Brahmana, by which he actually, fired the Brahmastra, and he killed the 5 sleeping sons. And in fact, he attacked the Brahmastra on Uttara's womb also, and attacked even the Brahmastra to protect himself from Arjuna. So there he is addressed as Dvijabandhu. Krishna says he's a Dvijabandhu. So Dvijabandhus are those who are born in Brahmana families or in Kshatriya or Vaishya families, but they don't take the advantages and they don't act according to that. So they are fallen actually in one sense from their status. Just like a doctor's son doesn't take the advantage of all the facilities offered by the doctor and takes up to education of a medical field and becomes a doctor. If he takes all the advantages and becomes a doctor, then, then it is worth it. Similarly, the Brahmana's son takes all the advantages of being Brahmana in a Brahmana family, then he's a Brahmana. If he doesn't take advantage, then he becomes a Dvija Bandhu, the friend of the Brahmana, it is called, friend of the twice born. So that is regarding Dvija Bandhu. So there is another question. How to know who has accepted Vedic Dharma? Now today in Kali Yuga, the whole Varnashram is not existing. It is in this, today what we see is only the remnants of Varnashrama. There is no Varnashram Dharma which is being practiced. But you see in, certain places where there are, like now in Karwar, and very close is Gokarn here. And the Gokarna Brahmanas are, performing karma kanda rituals, karma kanda yagyas for the hit of the praja. And they know the Vedas, they are good in reciting the Vedas, and they know very well the rituals they are, performing. They have this knowledge and science from the Vedas. So in one sense, they are following Vedic Dharma, and such, Vedic Dharma followers we need to respect. So that is how we can identify in today's world. So this is how we can understand who are following Vedic Dharma. In fact, there are others who, follow some kind of regulations, like during the Chaturmas, they don't eat or they walk on barefoot. They follow some kind of rituals which are mentioned in the Vedas. So in that sense also they are dharmic, and they should be also given special request, and we should never criticize them. I remember many years back, we were in South India Yatra with the Brahmacharis, and we were in the line to take darshan of Ranganath. And there were some, followers of some other sect. We know that in Kerala there is Ayyappa Swami. So they also had come to take darshan of Ranganath. And one of the brahmacharis was criticizing, oh, these people, they just follow this for 4 months and then they go back to their material life. So very elevated and senior devotee told, at least for those 4 months, they are following some regulations. So they are much better to the materialistic people. So they are following some dharmic, rituals, some restriction, walking barefoot, and only eating some rice which is cooked. Some regulations they are following. And moreover, most important is now they are coming and taking darshan of Ranganath. They have some sukruti. So by taking darshan of Ranganath, they will attain some bhakti sukruti. So they are in one sense dharmic jivas. So we should respect them and never disrespect them. So that is how we should understand, how to know, who has accepted Vedic Dharma. I hope it is clear to Ashray Yoga Prabhuji. Okay, so I hope I'm clear about who are these Brahmanas who are called as Vaishnapraya, who are, who are according to their nature, they are having sattvic qualities, and these sattvic qualities are mentioned in the Gita. So this is about special respect to dharmic jivs and special honor to Brahmanas who are almost Vaishnavas. So there is another question. Let us take up question. It's very important that we have these questions cleared as we go in the discussion. Yes, Ashray Yoga Prabhuji, I have unmuted you.
Prabhuji, if we cover this, we should respect all the ordinary living beings. If one restrict to this principle only, then ultimately all three following this following other 3 points, living beings who are accepted Vedic Dharma. So it all covers in this. So then what is how we can understand that why these specially mentioned separately?
Yes. Very good.
Very special respect. So what's the significance to the devotees for this explanation?
Yeah. Very good question. Excellent question. Bhaktivinoda Thakur is going to explain further, but just now to tell you, these different gradations of ordinary jivas, dharmic jivas, brahmanas and Vaishnavas, why have this different levels of categories, and why don't we have only one special simple category of jivas and respect everyone? No, this is not, the standard, be it in the material world or in the spiritual world, spiritual standard or material standard. All these jivas are in different levels of consciousness. The dharmic jivas are a little in elevated consciousness. The brahmanas are still elevated consciousness. And the Vaishnavas who worship Vishnu, who have taken up to bhakti, they are at a higher level of consciousness. So based on the level of consciousness, there has to be proper respect given according to that level. So that is why this categorization Bhaktivinoda Thakur is doing. This is first thing to be understood from the spiritual point of view. Now, take a material example. You are working in an office, in a company. There is a security person, there is a labor class who are working in the factory, there is a managerial class, there is the board of directors, all these personalities are at, from a material point, I'm saying again, are at different levels situated. And you cannot respect them all equally. There is different levels of respect you give for them also. So when in a material sense it applies, it also applies in a spiritual sense. And spiritually, more the important because it is based on the level of their consciousness. So based on the level of consciousness, that is why Bhaktivinoda Thakur has been saying here that special respect should be given and honor should be given to Brahmanas. So that is the understanding we should have. Is it clear, Prabhuji?
Yes, Prabhuji, thank you very much.
Yeah. Okay, any other questions you have up till now, what we have discussed? Madan Deshpande Prabhu had a question last time and it is going to come up. Bhaktivinoda Thakur is going to answer that. I will take it up once the next slide comes up. Okay. Vaishnava Jivera Charana Bhajana Karya Vidheya. Now is, it is prescribed that service be rendered unto the feet of Vaishnava living beings. So here, for the dharmic jivas, special respect. For the brahmanas, honor should be done. But for Vaishnavas, we should render service. It is prescribed, it is mentioned. And the note is, it is prescribed means it is prescribed in the scriptures. So it is prescribed in the scriptures that Vaishnavas have to be served. And this is the paramount instruction Chaitanya Mahaprabhu gives to Satyaraj and all the Vaishnavas of the Kulina Gram. We are Grahasthas. What is our duty? He says, Nirantar Naam lo aur karo Vaishnav Seva. Chant the holy names and do Vaishnav service. Vaishnav service is of paramount importance in Vaishnavas' lives. To serve the Vaishnavas. Service should be rendered to the Vaishnavas. So this is how these four categories we have to respect. Now comes a very interesting section. What happens if we don't give respect? By not rendering respect to living beings, Jivera Adar, Dharmik Jivera Vishesh Adar, O Brahmana evam Vaishnava Praya Jivera Samman, na karile Papa hoy. Papa hoy. By not rendering respect to living beings, special respect to living beings who have accepted Vedic Dharma, Dharmik Jiv Vishesh Adar, and honor to living beings who are Brahmanas. O Brahmana evam Vaishnava Praya Jivera, and almost Vaishnavas, Jivera Praya, Vaishnava Praya, Jivera Samman na karile. If we don't honor them, not render respect, what is it? Papa hoy. One attains sinful reactions. So this is the effect of not honoring ordinary living beings, dharmic living beings, and Brahmana living beings. And the sin also is, according to the level of their consciousness. If we have not honored the Brahmanas, then the reaction is deeper. It is a sinful reaction. It is pap. Please understand. There is a difference between pap and aparad. We'll come to that. And if you don't honor the dharmic jivas, there is sinful reaction, but it is not of that high degree, of a smaller degree. And if we don't honor jivas, it is sin to a smaller degree. So this is how we should understand. Now, again, I'll come to that company example. In a company, there are many class of people who are working: the labor class, the productive class, the managerial class, and the board of directors class. So the one labor does some fraud in the company, and he steals 5,000 or 10,000. It doesn't make much difference. The company doesn't suffer much. He'll be called and he might be fired from his job, and the company doesn't face much loss. But if among the board of directors, if they do one fraud, many in the company get affected. So they're the same living beings there, but they are at different levels in their, in the hierarchy of that company. So similarly, these three different levels, if we don't offer respects according to their levels, the sinful reaction is of that levels of degrees. So that is how we should understand Papa. Now Bhaktivinoda Thakur says, Vaishnava jiver another o asamman karile aparadha hai. When one disrespects and dishonors Vaishnava living beings, one attains offensive reactions. So here last week, one of our devotees had asked, what is the difference between sin and aparad? So here, offensive reactions, and here the term is used, sinful reactions. The term sinful reactions to denote reactions to sin one has committed. If one commits papa, then there is a sinful reaction. And offensive reaction to denote reaction to offenses one has committed. If one does Vaishnava aparad, then there is a Vaishnava reaction. There is a reaction. There is a sinful reaction. So it is called as offensive reactions. There are offensive reactions and sinful reactions. So these two are completely different. This is the difference between pap and aparad. If I don't honor a brahmana, then I get pap. If I don't honor a Vaishnava, then I commit aparad. Papa, Bhaktivinoda Thakur, I think he will come to that. Somebody has raised a hand, but please hold on. Let us see whether your question will be answered in the coming text. Papa samuha samanya prashit shaya hoy, kintu aparad sahaja yay naay. Sinful reactions are destroyed through ordinary procedures of atonement, like prashit. But offensive reactions do not go away easily. So the papa affects our, subtle body, our sukshma sharir, or the antakaran, or the chitta. But aparad affects directly the soul. That is why His Holiness Gaur Govind Maharaj is to compare pap to dhul lepi. Dhul lepi means, dhul means mud. Lep means, a paste of mud. So when there is, some paste of mud on a wall or on a tile, you wash it, it will immediately be cleansed. But he says aparad is vajra lep. The Indra has vajra. And vajra lep, is directly, it affects the soul. So aparad is of the soul, and it is like vajra lep, and it doesn't go away. So that is why it is being said here, offensive reactions do not go away easily. Aparad sahaja yaya naay. But as pap, just by performing some ordinary procedures in the karma kanda like prashita, immediately they go away. I will take this one section and then take up the question answers. Kindly hold on, please, devotees. Papa, stula or linga sharira nishta. Sinful reactions pertain to one's gross and subtle bodies. Aparada jiva atma nishta patana vishesh. Offensive reactions, this is because of aparad, pertain to the soul of the living being and are special causes for fall down. So aparad, affects the soul, whereas the Papa affects the gross and subtle bodies. So that is why I was explaining Vajralep and Dhulalepi. So this is the difference between Pap and Aparad. So now I think devotees are very eager to have the discussion on question and answers. So now we will take up the questions. So let us begin now. Maya Narasimha Prabhu has one question. So let us first take his. Yes, Maya Narasimha Prabhuji.
Prabhuji, Hare Krishna Prabhuji. You are able to hear me, Prabhu?
Very clear.
Prabhuji, my question is that very practical question. So among the general masses and those who are religious and those who are devotees, when we encounter them, what exactly we are expected to do? Is it only on the mental level that we feel respecting them? Of course, that we'll do because we have understood now the consequences of it. But more than that, anything we need to do when we see some senior Vaishnavas or somebody who is very exalted personality, but because of our inferiority complex or some kind of lethargy, we don't come forward to properly offer our respects to them. So that also will be considered as an offense, Prabhu?
Now, you'll have to be very clear about the question. First thing, what you asked, as far as I understand, is what to do in general case when we see all living beings or dharmic beings. As Bhaktivinoda Thakur told, that we should, always be in a humble mood to offer respects from the heart. As there is some background disturbance, Prabhuji. We should offer respects. We should offer respects. We should offer respects to those living beings. But when in case of Vaishnavas, now based on the Vaishnavas levels, what they are, whether they are Kanishta, Madhyam or Uttama, how to serve them, then that is a different question. And Bhaktivinoda Thakur in the next section, he will come to that Vaishnavas, these three levels of Vaishnavas. And how to do service, there are different ways we can do that service. And that is a separate discussion which will begin in the coming sessions. So next section will be that. So kindly wait. Vaishnavas, definitely we can serve in many ways. We can serve by offering respects to the Vaishnavas. Vancha kalpatarubhasya kripabin sindhubevacha patitanam pavanebhyo Vaishnavabhyo namo namah. That is also service to the Vaishnavas. Somebody is Madhyam, we assist him in preaching, we assist him in so many other things. Somebody is a Mahabhagavat, we associate and serve very intimately. So based on the level of the Vaishnavas, how that service has to be done, that is one thing which one has to, deliberate and accordingly serve these three levels of Vaishnavas, which will be the next discussion which Bhaktivinoda Thakur is going to have. Madan Deshpande Prabhuji, I hope your question is answered about difference between Pap and Aparad.
Yes, Prabhuji. I have Hare Krishna Dandavat Pranam Prabhuji. A small question again.
Yes.
Prabhuji, you said the sin, it affects the chit, right?
Yeah, the subtle body.
Subtle body. Okay. There's a subtle body. So what is the chit is the consciousness, correct?
No, here there is pure consciousness which is flowing from the soul, which is called as Chitta, C-I-T.
Okay.
That is the pure consciousness of the soul, which is Krishna consciousness. And now the consciousness, in the subtle body has unlimited impressions in the form of samskars.
Okay.
So the soul's pure consciousness flows from the subtle body with these unlimited impressions. That is called as the contaminated consciousness, or C-I-T-T-A, Chitta.
Okay.
That is called as Chitta, which are these impressions. And all these impressions are in the subtle body. And when we, don't respect ordinary living beings, dharmic living beings, or Brahmanas, then, these reactions come in the Chitta and there is a kind of suffering. But when we commit Vaishnava Aparad, that affects the soul itself. The soul's progress in the bhakti gets stunted or affected. Now, again, to give an example to understand this, very simple example now.
I got it. Yes, yes.
A very simple example is, suppose, two children are suffering because of a disease. One is the son of a poor man, and he is suffering from a disease, and he is admitted in the hospital, and he has minimum facilities. He's in the general ward, and he's going through the suffering. The second one is the son of a king. Forget, the example is not of a suffering of a disease where he's in the general ward. The poor man's son, he commits some crime or sin by which he is in the prison house. And this poor man's son is now in the prison house and he's suffering. But a king's son, he commits something wrong and he's also imprisoned. Both these children are in the same prison house. Both are there because of some sin, maybe a similar sin committed. But yet, who is suffering the most among them? Whether the poor man's son or the king's son? It is the king's son who suffers more, although the facilities are the same in the prison, because he is used to opulent life, kingly life, royal life. The poor man's son, he is in destitute condition. He's been always going through that suffering. So he doesn't much feel any difference even when he's in the jail. But it is the king's son who really goes through inner suffering. His inner suffering is more. Similarly, the soul's suffering of reaction in the form of aparadh, when Vaishnavas are not, given respect, that soul is affected. The soul's progress is affected. That is how the difference between the two is there. I hope it is clear. Okay.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, one more question.
Yeah.
A Brahmana can become a Vaishnava tomorrow, right?
Yes.
So today I commit a sin on a Brahmana. So I do something wrong with a Brahmana. So tomorrow, maybe in some future course of time, he becomes a Vaishnava. So does that sin what I've committed becomes into an aparadh?
Excellent question. Excellent question. Yes. When we commit like any sin or any offense to a Brahmana, and tomorrow that Brahmana turns into Vaishnava, and that is why Bhaktivinoda Thakur is using the term Vaishnava Praya. When he becomes a Brahmana, that sin turns into now aparadh, and that is why we should be very, very careful. We know the pastime of Dhruva Maharaj. Dhruva Maharaj's stepmother, I think it is Suruchi or Suniti. She committed, she spoke harsh words, out of anger, out of envy, you can say, and hurt the heart of Dhruva Maharaj. And that was a sin. And she had to have the sunful reactions for it. But later on, Dhruva Maharaj became a pure devotee. And later on, that sin turned into what? Aparadh. And she was destroyed. We know that. She was destroyed because of that, because it became into a aparadh. So that is why we should be very, very careful that we don't know which jiva is tomorrow going to become a Vaishnava. So that is why we should be very, very careful about it. Is that clear, Prabhuji?
Thank you, Prabhu. Thank you so much.
Yeah. So there are many questions. This topic is very, very important, and only by having this question answer discussion, things become clear. So anyone has any other question? No. Okay. Kindly raise hands if you have questions, and you can ask, so that if there is any further clarification, I can ask and interact and then answer. And please avoid the chat box. Use the chat box exclusively if there is some problem with the audio. Otherwise, don't use the chat box for any other purpose. Okay, let us see. This is from Dhanush. Disrespecting living entities who are Vaishnava Praya comes under sinful reaction or offensive reaction. Now, the Brahmanas are considered as Vaishnava Praya, and that is why Bhaktivinoda Thakur is very clear. He says it is sinful reaction. So it is sinful reaction. But, ultimately, if that Brahmana becomes a Vaishnava, then it can turn into an offensive reaction. So that is the answer. Now, Nehal Bhosle has asked a question. How to keep motivation of service mood when serving seniors for longer time and you have got hurt many times in service due to small misunderstandings? Oh, this is a very, very important, subject matter, especially those whom we are, whom we have a lot of respect and whom we consider as our ideals, who are very senior, and we have a very nice service attitude and mood towards them, these seniors, and we have been serving them for a long time, and we have got hurt in many times in their service because of misunderstandings. Yes. Now, this is a very important subject matter, and here I would like to present one important principle, which if we follow this principle, then maybe we can understand how we should act, especially in service and in Vaishnava relationships. So what is the principle is, basically, when we are in the association of devotees or with like-minded devotees performing Vaishnava Seva, and especially in management, there will be differences of opinion. There will be differences of opinions. What to speak here in the conditioned state as Vaishnavas, even in the liberated state, Prabhupada says there are differences among two liberated Vaishnavas as to how Sri Krishna is to be served. But there, because they are free from false ego, ultimately, because of difference of opinion among liberated souls in the spiritual world, their relationships, still continue well. But here in the conditioned state, because of false ego, ahankar, when issues are being discussed and there is difference of opinion in issues, that time, the ego is one which gives us trouble. So, our relationships with Vaishnavas should be maintained, and issues we should keep aside. So this is a very important principle we should need to follow. Now, I'll give you the example of Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur. Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur heavily criticized Rabindranath Tagore. It is there in the Bhaktisiddhanta Vaibhav, because he was by his so-called poetry and song, he was misdirecting the people, and that was something which was dharmic, that was he was presenting. So as a protection measure, as a constructive criticism, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur was criticizing, and Rabindranath Tagore knew about it, that this sadhu is critical about it. It is constructive criticism, it is called, which is not born out of envy, but it is pure compassion of the pure liberated souls. So Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur had gone to Manipur or somewhere, and he was hosted by a Maharaja there, and he was giving discourses. Suddenly it happened that Rabindranath Tagore decided to visit this Maharaj. And now this Maharaj was in a dilemma. Now, because he had this one special room for special guest, and Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur was now already occupying it. Now, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur understood. He told the Maharaja that Rabindranath Tagore is a very important personality, well-known personality. Let him stay in this room. I will, vacate and go to a smaller room. And in fact, Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, as a service, he himself cleaned that room. So he had a lot of difference of opinion with Rabindranath Tagore on issues. But with respect to relationship, he maintained that relationship. So this is an important principle which as Vaishnavas we should follow. And it is my experience, and I have heard from very, very senior devotees and Vaishnavas that they told me that whenever there are difference of issues or difference of opinions about many things, our relationships get spoiled with Vaishnavas. That is lack of maturity, I can say. It is highly immature. This is a sign of a Kanishta. Maturity means to keep issues separate and have relationship with Vaishnavas. Our relationship with Vaishnavas not get affected. We have to keep the issues separate. Now, you all know, even in Krishna's time, when Krishna and Arjuna and Bhima went to fight with Jarasandha, in the daytime they were fighting, but in the evening they were, jollily, having feast together and talking to each other, they were, having what you can say, wonderful time with each other. But in the daytime, each were fighting, Jarasandha and Bhima were fighting. So that was, their level, So similarly, we should have this kind of a mood. And if we do this, then, these misunderstanding issues, we keep separate and we, don't spoil the relationships, then it is, this is a sutra. If we follow, then we can maintain that service mode. Secondly, most important to maintain the service mode is to not have too much of, there is that saying of Chanakya Pandit, Ati Parikchaya Avagya. Too much familiarity breeds contempt. So when we are in association of devotees, and especially like-minded devotees whom we are doing service together, there is a tendency to, become familiar and not maintain that, mood of, honoring the Vaishnavas and all. At exalted levels, at higher levels, one who is a Bhagavad, there is a lot of intimacy and prema between them. At that time, there is no offense, but at, Madhyama level and Kanishta level, there can be, differences, or there can be contempt which can happen. So we should always maintain that other mood, that respectful mood, even among devotees whom we are working together and whom we know each other for a long time. So that is the answer regarding Neha Bhosle's. So there is how can we say that envy is the root cause of all offenses? We will come to that in the second part of the discussion. But suffice here to say, Krishna in the 9.1 in the Bhagavad Gita, I'll see that 9.1. 9.1 is a very important verse for us to understand. Krishna is saying that Idam tu te guyatamam pravakshyami anusuyave jnanam vijnana sahitam yad gyatva mokshashe shubhat. Arjuna, I will speak to you the Gyan. I will give you the Bhakti Gyan and the realization. I will give you the realizations about my Aishwarya Gyan as well as my Madhurya Gyan. In the 9th chapter, the 9th chapter is the most confidential chapter here. I will give you that knowledge because you're Anusuya. You're not envious of me, Krishna is saying. So here is a very important point to understand, that Krishna is going to speak about his own glories. And Arjuna's heart is very pure. Hearing these glories, he will feel ecstasy. And that is why Krishna is going to give that confidential knowledge to Arjuna. Now for us, that pure love for Krishna is now perverted in the form of lust. And the subtlest form of lust is envy. And envy means to find fault in others. This is a symptom that, those who are, even in the Vaishnava circles who are more elevated than us, we seeing their progress, we might, become envious. So that envy which we have against the Vaishnava is a reflection of actually the envy against Krishna. So there is envy definitely, because that is our disease. And as long as we are not free from this disease, envy, till then we cannot attain the Paramahamsa stage. That is why it is mentioned, Dharma Projita Kaitavo Paramo Nirmatsaranam. Nirmatsaram. Nirmatsaram means Prabhupada in the word to word meaning says, one whose heart is 100% pure. That is the translation Prabhupada gives. So this is our disease. And one of the symptoms is that we see faults in others. Whereas a Mahabhagavat, one of his qualities in the 16th chapter is mentioned that he doesn't see fault in anyone. So we have this fault-finding mentality. This is, the sign that we have, envy in our heart. And that is why this is the root of all the offenses, envy. I hope Birendra Yadav Prabhuji is satisfied with this discussion. We will go more into critical analysis of envy when we come to the second part of, after we discuss Bengali work of Bhaktivinoda Thakur. There are a lot of questions coming up. I am really, okay. I'll take one more from the chat box by Vasant Naik Prabhuji. Okay, this is not a question. Okay, let me take up Nupur Mataji. Yes, Mataji, what's your question?
The question is, the sinful reaction affects Antakaran and the offensive reaction affects the soul. So how exactly this reflects in our bhakti or in our spiritual practice, Krishna consciousness?
Excellent question. We can easily understand the effect of aparadh in our spiritual life when we are chanting. Chanting is the barometer by which we can understand that because of aparadh, I'm not able to taste the holy name. I'm not able to, chant my names. My consciousness is not getting focused in hearing the name. So that is one of the measures by which we can understand it is because of aparadh. And definitely as Vaishnavas, you must have all observed, and sometimes we might, in the Vaishnava circles, commit some aparadh. And when we commit aparadh, our consciousness is affected because it has to do with the soul. It's the soul's consciousness, And when next day we sit for chanting, our heart is not in the chanting. Although we are trying to, utter the vibrations, they're coming from the mouth, but the soul consciousness is somehow blocked, you can see. We can experience that it is blocked. And the mantra is, not coming out. Only the aksharas are coming out from the mouth. So the soul is not, able to access, and from the heart, we are not able to chant the holy name. So this is the way we can understand that, it is because of aparadh. So this is one of the barometers by which we can check, how we are, committing aparadh and how aparadh affects the consciousness. It is through the chanting. Is it okay, Mataji?
Yes, Prabhuji, thank you so much.
Yeah. There is one more question. Okay, this is not a question. Okay, they're asking for the recording that I'll be sending. Okay. Any other questions? There is one more raised hand I can see. Ashray Yoga Prabhuji. Yes, Prabhuji. Ashray Yoga Prabhuji. I have unmuted you. We'll take one more question. Last question.
Thank you very much, Prabhuji, for giving that important principle, difference of opinion on. So as I just wanted to share my personal experience that I am from last 6-7 years I am in management. So my counselor always tell that मतभेद हो सकता है लेकिन मनभेद नहीं होना चाहिए. So we may have a difference in opinion, but in one goal we should be what you can unite together for the cause of for the pleasure of
there can we should be broad-minded because we want the service to Krishna to happen in our way, and somebody has another opinion. And when there is clash of opinions, that time there are some clashes of words which happen. But what happens in the conditioned state is that, center is not Krishna. Sometimes we are the center. And because we are the center, that's why there is
my discussion is only this only. It is very, very nice to hear about this thing. We should we should not be clashed on among devotees. मतभेद हो सकता है, मनभेद नहीं. लेकिन it is very momentarily when you are discussing and you are in some management services and you have difference of opinion, but at that time you cannot realize this thing ki we are all together wanted to serve Krishna, to serve Srila Prabhupada. But at that moment, later on, we can realize ki yes, we should not do like this. But momentarily, when there is a difference of opinion, then ego comes that it's my word should be honored, my decision should be honored.
So that was my point, that because the center of consciousness is we cannot keep the Krishna as center. That's why these clashes can, the simple example Prabhupada gave is when the stones are thrown at the same center of the lake, then the ripples are in concentric circles, they don't clash. But the stones are thrown at two different places, then the ripples come and clash. So the center is not Krishna, and that is why there are differences of opinion, and that's why these clashes happen. It's difficult in the conditioned state, but we should become mature and have these kind of discussions and in our Vaishnava dealings, so that we keep issues aside and maintain the relationships. Okay. So now it is almost 8:13, 8:15 we are supposed to finish. So there was a lot of discussion regarding the question answers. I am also happy to, whatever best, according to my understanding, I am trying to answer. Now, the next theme is a different theme, what Bhaktivinoda Thakur is going to discuss. That we have discussed this, that this is the last point. I will again revise and then we will conclude. What is it? That Papa affects, Papa can be destroyed through atonement, and Papa affects the gross and subtle body, but Aparad pertains to the soul and it has special causes of fall down. And then Bhaktivinoda Thakur says here, this is the last statement. Athaeva yahar bhagavat bhajan kariben tahadare pakshe aparad hoite vishesh asankhya. Therefore, there is special apprehension regarding offenses in those who want to engage in devotional service to the Supreme Personality. So there is a special apprehension, vishesh asankhya. For what? Regarding offenses. And these are Vaishnava Aparad. And this is referring to whom? Those who are engaged in devotional service. So we are in a society of Vaishnavas, and in the society of Vaishnavas only we are serving Krishna. So there is a special apprehension regarding offenses, not to commit offenses in the association of Vaishnavas. So there is a special apprehension. Why? Because offensive actions affect the soul and they cause fall down. So that is why there is some special apprehension. Now Bhaktivinoda Thakur will come to these three types of Vaishnavas according to Srimad Bhagavatam. What is this? Kanishta, Madhyama and Uttama. And this we will take up in the next class. So thank you very, very much. Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur ki जय। गौर प्रेमानंदे हरि हरि बोल। हरे कृष्णा।